Reddit started in 2005 when two freshmen of the University of Virginia, roommates Alexis Ohanian and Steve Huffman, went to a talk made by Paul Graham. Graham was known for being one of the creators of the Y Combinator, a startup accelerator responsible for helping launch successful companies such as Stripe, Airbnb, and Twitch. After pitching Graham a basic food delivery app, they managed to impress him with their energetic attitude, which he always deemed as essential for startup success. Disregarding their original idea, Graham gave them $12,000 and the task of creating a startup that aggregated the unlimited internet's content in an easy-to-read and engaging way. As a result, Reddit, a website that would years later become one of the most visited online domains in the world, was born in June of 2005. However, this site wasn't just a content aggregator. It was completely innovative for that time. It had new features such as the so-called upvotes and downvotes, which would let users react to each piece of content. This new site would have the almighty Reddit's homepage, where the most upvoted posts would appear, letting the editorial decisions in the hands of users, something that was unheard of at the time and quickly became widely popular. Moreover, users would be able to create subreddits, separate pages where users would create niche communities and post all kinds of stuff about the interests that brought them together. Creating the website was easy compared to the hassle that Ohanian and Huffman had to face when it came to actually driving users to interact with their new startup. But once again, these two roommates managed to innovate in that sense too, as they got their feet wet with what is now called growth hacking. What is it, you may ask? It's the process of creating thousands and thousands of fake users and posts over a period of time with the hopes of giving out the image that a website is buzzing and vibrant with compelling content. The aim here is to attract real users on the outside without them actually knowing that they are being tricked. It might be unethical, but it proved to be successful in the case of Reddit. To make their website grow even more, Ohanian and Huffman decided to join forces with this crazy smart kid named Aaron Swartz, thus creating Not a Bug Inc. Swartz became a legend among coders when he, as a 14-year-old kid, would single-handedly create the RSS 1.0 standard, a method of syndicating news content which is still influential in today's online world. In the beginning, Swartz proved himself invaluable to the growth of Reddit as he was responsible of projects like switching to Python, a nifty coding language that made the website much faster and versatile. But, as it usually happens in startups, the relationship between the founders started to slowly worsen due to Swartz's sudden change of behavior. He would disappear and not come to work without giving notice. However, it wasn't all bad news for Reddit and Ohanian and Huffman. Good news were in sight, by the hand of an industry titan, Conde Nast. Conde Nast was a media giant based in New York widely known for owning The New Yorker and Wired magazine. By the fall of 2006, Reddit was at a great point, with millions of monthly users falling in love with subreddits of all types. Not by surprise, Reddit was acquired in October 2006 by Conde Nast for an undisclosed sum between $10 to $20 million. A figure that today would be a joke for Reddit's $3 billion valuation. Even though Ohanian, Huffman, and Swartz would now be employees of the company, nothing would change in regards to Reddit's operation as Conde Nast took an offhand approach of management. This remained the same until Conde Nast's management saw themselves forced to asking Aaron Swartz to resign after watching the neglect he would have with Reddit's present and future. Sadly, things would not end well for the then 26-year-old Swartz, who in 2013 took his life after being prosecuted for hacking JSTOR, a widely known academic journal. Even though things were going good with Reddit, and after many years living and working together, many arguments started to become common between Ohanian and Huffman. That's how, in 2009, after dealing with personal problems such as his mother being terminally ill, Ohanian was the first founder to leave the company to pursue other projects. In 2010, Huffman would follow his co-founder's steps as he was becoming more and more disillusioned with his new bosses. Reddit was now officially headless. The first proper CEO that Reddit got after both founders' resignation was in 2012 with the designation of Yishan Wang. Wang's first year was very productive for Reddit. He was responsible for introducing new revenue streams such as the Reddit Gold, a membership that gave their users extra features such as custom avatars and the option to turn off advertisements. But things weren't that good in the inside, as Reddit's employees didn't like Wong's managerial style. His close-mindedness got to the point to attempting to change Reddit's headquarters to the outskirts of San Francisco because of the sole purpose of having his workplace closer to his home. In response to the board's refusal of his proposal, he just stopped going to work, leaving Reddit once again without a leader. It seemed that drama was always present when it came to Reddit's CEO. The next in line to take Wong's place as Chief Executive Officer of Reddit headquarters was Ellen Pao. Her future would be very similar to Wong's, as she also wasn't liked at all by Reddit's workforce. She would surround herself with yes men and got rid of anyone who presented an opposite point of view to hers, which led to many valuable minds leaving Reddit. Firing an employee with leukemia over the phone telling him that he was too sick to fulfill his duties was amongst some of the horrible things she did as CEO. The controversies surrounding some Reddit's very shady subreddits weren't helpful at all for Ellen Pao's situation. In fact, these issues were not new at all for Reddit's executives and presented very serious issues which went back to previous years. For instance, take 2007. When Reddit's management decided to start hosting advertisement in the platform in a failed attempt to turn the company profitable. At the time, a group of Redditors wanted to place advertisement in favor of the legalization of marijuana, which was part of a nationwide debate. Due to the fear of the negative repercussion from users, management decided to run the ads disregarding the reservations that Conde Nast, the majority owner of Reddit, had about such initiative. Even in 2014, when the company was still far from turning into profits, Reddit's executives decided to donate 10% of all advertising revenues to Redditor-selected charities, all with the hopes of pleasing its users. Free speech was a concept in which Reddit was built on. Executives and other employees would take pride in the fact that Reddit was a website where anyone could say anything they want. This user-based policy was positively taken by the public until some nasty things started to pop out in the platform. A perfect example was the subreddit called Anarchism. There, users would share posts advocating rape, terrorism, and violence. It even got to the point of Reddit seeing its hands forced to remove a subreddit called Jailbait for the first time in its history. The reasons were that close to 20,000 followers would share disturbing images of minors in that subreddit. Coming back to Ellen Pao, it was 2015 when, among these controversies regarding free speech, Redditors created a petition in change.org asking for Pao's firing after she being the main force responsible of prohibiting many polemic subreddits from the platform. After this request gathered 200,000 signatures, Reddit published a statement communicating that Ellen Pao would step down as CEO as a result of both parts coming to an understanding. 2015 proved to be a horrible year for Reddit, as it was seen by most of the internet as a hub of dark and dodgy people with unclear intentions. Luckily, this year ended up being not bad at all for the future of the beloved and controversial website. It was July 2015 when Huffman and Ohanian solved the issues they had with each other and decided to come back to the company and try to save it from itself. Huffman would take the position of CEO and Ohanian would be placed as an advisor in Reddit's board of directors. Both founders found their brainchild in very bad shape. Reddit was a mess, budgets weren't being respected, morale was on the floor, and the public opinion was turning against them. That was when Huffman had an idea that would completely change the future of Reddit. He would take a stance on the whole thing, getting rid of all the controversy once and for all. In his 5th day in charge, he would publicly speak on behalf of Ohanian and him saying that Reddit was never planned to be a bastion of free speech. And from that time on, any content that glorified hate speech or any type of violence would be forbidden from the site. Even though this wasn't received positively at first from Reddit's users, it proved to be the right decision in the long term. It's that how, at the time of speaking, the company is valued above $3 billion, which is a massive jump from the original investment Conde Nast made when it first acquired Reddit. As we mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reddit was originally though as a brand new website that brought all kinds of new and innovating features that always revolved around satisfying its users. However, it came a time when the founders had to save the company from the users that got ready to be one of the most popular websites in the world. Did they do the right thing? Would Reddit be even more popular if they had approached this issue in a different way? What do you think? Thank you for taking this time to watch this video. If you like it, you can give it a like or share it. And if you'd like to get notified when I publish new videos like this one, consider subscribing and clicking on the bell to get notified when this happens.